prospect with integrity, we will get customers who have integrity. Integrity is the foundation from which everything is built on.
You better understand value. But at the end of the day, sales is a relationship business. It is a people business. It is an emotional business.
This is Sales Logic.
All right, welcome to Sales Logic. StreamYard has decided we need to do it a different way, I guess, going forward. I'm going to have to figure that out. It's Meridith, Elliott, Powell hanging out here with my partner, Mark Hunter. It is time for Sales Logic. Mark, how's your week been?
It's been crazy. I know yours has been crazy, but that means stuff is happening, and that's good. Hey, what are we talking about today? We're talking about how to drive inbound leads. Inbound, hey, isn't that the best way to get leads? So we got that as the topic. We've got a great book we're going to talk about. Hey, our lightning rounds, we're going to talk about top 10 signs your sales strategy needs a tune-up. So stick around to the end. So, hey, let's jump right in. How do you drive inbound leads?
You know, I really love this topic, and I was so glad that it came up in the question because I don't think I do a great job of driving inbound leads. And it was fun to get out there and really do some research on it. And I've found some places that I really need to overhaul my own strategy. So I went to probably, I think, the queen of driving inbound leads to get some information on this, of how she does it. And that's Sherry Levitin. If you don't follow Sherry Levitin online, you really need to follow Sherry Levitin. She's incredible. But she drives about 10 to 12 inbound leads a month. And she does it really by dominating the airwaves of 4 social media channels with really incredible videos that are topic specific on sales, and really positions herself as a leader. But Mark, I'm curious, do you do a good job of driving inbound leads?
Well, all of my inbound leads come through really 2 ways. You know, we get inbound leads occasionally by way of Sales Logic and our other podcasts we do. But I get a lot through LinkedIn. And again, I think what you have to do is you have to be very, very laser focused. Sherry Levitin does a great job of this because she's laser focused. But here's the challenge on driving inbound leads on social media. It's a long tail. It's a long tail. It takes time. I mean, the LinkedIn leads that I get, I love them, but I've been a part of LinkedIn now for 18 or 19 years. I was on it before there were pictures. Go figure that one out. And as a result, it's taken a tremendous amount of time. So I don't necessarily advocate that as a way of I'm going to try to develop inbound leads. I think your best way to develop inbound leads is by way of referrals. It's by talking to your existing customers, talking to people who know you, and letting them know what you do. But here's the whole thing. If you're shopping for business, you won't get business. If you're looking to help people, then you get business.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I was talking with one of my team members yesterday, and she does some work for somebody else, and she was saying probably one of the biggest challenges is the fact that the other person that she works for doesn't have much of a social media presence. So even when a referral comes in, the person is still going out there to check you out online. And if you're not there and you're not visible and you're not saying something significant, then you're going to lose that inbound lead.
See, that is so true because everything gets validated before it gets, used. And what do we mean by this? Your reputation arrives before you do. So you're right. You've got to have a social media presence. You've got to be able to be found on the internet. You know, it's interesting. I'll go to meetings, I'll go to networking events, and we'll talk about networking events here in a bit. And I many times don't have business cards with me. And it's like, because I mean, you just go out and Google me, go out and find me, and you're going to find me. And I tell people, if you can't be found by way of a search very quickly, you're not relevant. You are not relevant at all. And that's, hey, I love what Terry Brock is jumping in saying, you know, you need to be laser focused, particularly on LinkedIn. See, for me, that's my B2B platform. You know, I know other people who really optimize Instagram or optimize TikTok. Ooh, that's a scary thought. But again, for me, it is LinkedIn. You have to be laser focused. Thank you, Terry.
Yeah, if you don't follow Terry Brock, you need to follow Terry Brock. He is the king of AI and all things technology. If you're looking to automate your sales process, get a little bit of IT help. He's a huge asset in that. Renee chimes in and says, driving inbound leads organically on social media is like a full-time job. You are right. It takes a long time. Oh my gosh, Renee, you are so right. It is a full-time job. Sherry Leviton told me she posts every day 4 times a day. Every day, 4 times a day.
Now that means she's got a resource. She's got an outside tool. I coach a number of salespeople, and I've got several who are saying, "Hey, Mark, how do I develop a social media presence?" And I say, don't do it yourself. You've got to find resources and tools. Now, this does not mean you don't pay attention to it. I pay attention to social media a lot. But again, it's a long tail, and you've got to be really disciplined on that. Hey, I love what Bill King is jumping in. Qualifying inbound leads can be a real challenge. Yes, it is, because not all inbound leads have merit. I get a lot of inbound leads that are just people shopping for a quick answer. You've got to be able to ensure that they match up to your ICP. Go back and listen to some of our episodes where we've talked about ICP, and you'll really understand you've got to be clear as to the type of lead you're chasing.
Bill, this is such a great question. Let me tell you what I do. I got a strong inbound lead earlier this week, and I set up the meeting for, we had it yesterday afternoon at 3:00, and I jumped on, and it was with the founder and the COO of the company, looking for information on sales. And within 10 minutes of the conversation, I threw the price out there. And the reason I threw the price out there was twofold. I wanted to see if they were serious, and I didn't want to hang on this call if I could get on the golf course by 3:30. So that was the truth. I didn't want to burn my tee time if I wasn't going to close a deal. So typically with an inbound lead, first of all, I'll see if they'll jump on the phone with me. That's a big qualifier. If they will not get on a Zoom call with me, then they're not interested. And if they won't do it fairly quickly, and then usually with an inbound lead, I'll throw a price far earlier than I do it with another, with a lead that I'm chasing, that I've already qualified because I'm chasing, because I just want to see if they're anywhere even in my ballpark.
I love what you're doing there, because you're pushing hard fast on an inbound lead. Because here's the whole thing. I see so many people, well, this person just called up and they're looking for a price. You know what? Come on. I mean, you have no clue on that. We get a lot of tire kickers. I don't care what business you're in. A lot of your inbound leads are just simply tire kickers, or people who maybe have an itch or they're interested, but they're not really serious. You've got to put them through the paces to qualify them. You've really got to find out if you're dealing with that decision maker very early on. Hey, we need to get to the question. Comes to us this week from George in Bar Harbor, Maine. He says, I'm a consultant. Moved to Maine a few years ago to get out of the rat race of Boston. I love it, but I've lost my ability to easily make sales calls to attend networking events to drum up business. What can I do to drive inbound leads? So he's in that boat where, it isn't like he can just go to this event, go to this event, go to this event and network. You got to drive it. So, George, you're into really having to have a tight network, be social. I hate to say the word social media active. Do I really have to say that? It pains me to say that. But it's putting content and helping people, and that's the best strategy. I don't know. You've got some. Hey, Andy Greenberg, I'll let you share with.
Oh, that's okay. Go ahead.
Andy's saying, hey, I write articles for magazines and newspapers. Had a national radio presence. Right. Andy's been around for years. Tremendous level of expertise. But again, you know what every person's talking about here? It takes time. It takes time to develop a presence. You can't just do it overnight. Sorry. You can't throw 1 or 2 videos out there and expect people to be beating a path to your door.
Yeah, I think if I were sitting in Bar Harbor, Maine, one of my favorite places in the country, you're right. You're kind of in a retirement haven or a vacation haven, and there isn't a lot of big business going on right there. You're kind of like me. I mean, I never work in Asheville, North Carolina, where I live. So I think number one is you need to get very, very, very clear on your ICP. Who are you going after? And then kind of to Andy's point, where do they live? I think what I might do if I were sitting in your shoes and was trying to drive inbound leads is number one, I would look for some industry magazines to write for. And a lot of them have podcasts now. Try to position yourself to be a guest on that podcast. Also, you may want to call that industry and say, I'm hosting my own podcast, and I would like to interview some of your best and some of your brightest on my podcast. So you can start to make some of those connections. You do need a video strategy. If you could make a list of the top 10 to 15 pain points that people in that industry are facing, that you solve that problem, and start a video strategy around it, a story video strategy around it. You do that, you'll start to drive some inbound leads.
Hey, I love Natalie's comment. She says at networking events, I exchange LinkedIn profiles with the QR code. It makes it easy. You're right. It is absolutely makes it easy. See, this is the whole thing. Business cards don't have the traditional flavor and feel that they used to. Because there's other ways to do it. Here's the whole thing. You have got to be able to create a presence of value. And it isn't just, hey, this is what I do. How can I help you? And it's by sharing information. Go back to your comment way back at the beginning, Sherry Leviton, her videos. They're always insightful because they're sharing a tip, a piece of advice that you can run with and you can benefit from. That's how you create value. That's how you ultimately create inbound leads.
Yeah, I love what John is saying here. Providing a blind prescription price without a proper diagnosis is criminal. You're absolutely right. But you've got to figure out early if that inbound lead is even in that range. So what I do is I throw out my daily rate. And my daily rate is this. I don't know if what we're going to do is going to need 1, 2, or 3, of these type of thing. We'll get into that, but I just want to find if my daily rate is in your price range, because exactly what Terry Brock is saying, it's a brilliant point to find out if they are qualified, getting to price earlier, because they may be calling you thinking that you, that you're that it's a 5-figure investment when it's going to be a 6-figure investment. And the way that I throw it out is really easy. I'll just say, look, I don't want to waste your time. So I want to make sure that we're in the same ballpark before we go into a really deep discussion. The range that this is, my daily rate is about this. Is that sounding that's something that you're good for? Now, yesterday I got lucky and they were there. So we're continuing the discussion, but I don't want to write a proposal if they're not even in the vein.
And that's not an excuse to low price somebody, because again, price creates value. It's amazing how you can put out a higher price and wow, you must really be good. If you put out a low price, you must not be any good. So don't think that putting a price out on the table is an excuse or a necessity to go low. No, it isn't. You've got to stick to what your value proposition is. And remember, your price, I'm going to deviate here for just a second. Your price is not based on a cost of goods. It's based on the value received. Make sure that you understand that, because that's a huge way for you to increase your value, because you're increasing your price.
Yeah. Mark, if you could use only one word to describe the future of inbound sales, what would it be?
Wow. Work. You got to work. How's that? I mean, you really do. I mean, again, this comes down to the fact that you can't create inbound by only doing one thing once a month or once a week. It's a routine. It's a routine. Sherry Leviton, like I said, she's out there 4 times a day. She's absolutely disciplined. See, now she's made that her central point of how to generate business. That's fine. Again, you understand what your business model is and you stick with it, but you got to be in the game consistently, month in, month out. And that's what very few people do.
Yeah, I would say, Sharik, I don't have one word for it, but I would say more important. I think that inbound leads are becoming more important than they have been in the past. I think going forward, customers will find us far more than we will find them. And I think I don't think it's an either or. I think you need to have a strategy that goes after both, consistently working on driving inbound leads while focusing on going after what you want.
I think the two absolutely support each other. They really do. Going back to George, who teed up the question, he has leads, he has contacts in Boston. I'm sure he does. You got to still be reaching out to those people, talking to those people, connecting with those people, helping those people, because I'm sure those people have got connections that ultimately they could connect you with. You see, here's the whole thing. The value of your online presence, your value of your reputation helps you drive the referral piece, helps you drive the repeat business. It helps create a stronger presence for you in everything. Believe me, this is not a one-trick pony sales world that we live in. We have to be out there in multiple ways, but it doesn't mean you have to be on every platform. I don't have a presence on TikTok. I could care less. My audience is on LinkedIn. That's where I make my home.
Yeah, Natalie, virtual networking programs, amazingly helpful. Bill, it's so true. Inbound leads are great, but cannot be expected. Yesterday, I talked with an owner who was doing everything but picking up the phone. I am a big believer. Again, I live in Asheville, North Carolina, kind of a groovy end of the world. And I'm a big believer in energy. So the reason the very first thing I do every morning after I meditate is I make sales calls. And the reason is because I want to send the energy out that I am looking for business. And I think it's really important that we can't sit there and hope that somebody calls us. We have to actively go out for the business. And when we actively go out for the business, guess what? Inbound leads come in.
I'll tell you what, that is so true. This is where I cringe at people who sit there and say, all I have to do is just put stuff out on media, social media. All I do. I'm sorry. You've got to be picking up the phone. You've got to be having conversation. Hey, I got to go back. My good friend Terry Brock jumps back in. Come on, Mark. Just give us a quick AI fix that will solve all our problems, not just work. AI, great tools. And Terry, tremendously. I tap your advice all the time. But I'll tell you what, you still got to make the work happen. You have to be disciplined in doing your sales routine day in and day out. This is why I highly recommend the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. People haven't read it. You got to read it because you got to do the discipline every day.
Yeah. So somebody just called me the other day about was going to start reading that book. And I said, it is a very dry read, but it's a really, really, really good read. Natalie, so Roberta's been exploring virtual networking events, and Andy, inbound leads are based on your reputation. 100% of his clients are inbound. That is a rarity these days. Mark, what's up on the book this week?
Well, the book is, hey, pick up the phone and sell by Alex Goldfein. Yeah, you know what? I mean, I tell you what, we've been talking about inbound, which is so good. But I'll tell you what, you've still got to match that with picking up the phone. I have a feeling, Andy, because I've known Andy for a number of years, Andy, you've been a master in terms of sales techniques and sales strategies. And I know you used to pick up the phone a tremendous amount, but you've been able to cultivate such a huge, massive sphere of influence that it now comes to you. But it was built because you were on the phone at the beginning of your career. Pick up the phone and sell by Alex Goldfein. I can't stress more importantly the power.
I want to make that is such a good point. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day because I had a young speaker talking to me about this business. And I said, I've been sitting in this seat. I started this business in 2004. I started speaking in 2009. I will get a certain amount of inbound leads just because people have seen me before. There is something to be said for time in the seat. Right. And so the amount of outbound you're going to need to make at the beginning of your career is much stronger.
Well, and inbound is a reflection of the quality of work that you do in your sales process. So if you are not getting, and this ties back into referrals, because I put referrals and inbound in a very tight family. And if you're not getting referrals, your quality must not be good and your sales process must not be good. But again, over time, both of those should absolutely be creating it. Hey, Renee, I love your comment. You're right about TikTok. I spent hundreds of hours creating content there with millions of views. Went viral many times. 0 leads. Thank you, Renee. I like you. I like you a lot. Yes.
Well, Renee, what I think is so important about that comment is, because I don't want people to think TikTok isn't the right venue. You need to be on the venue that's right for you. And that's what's really, really important, is that it is about his comment, is that I can I could put so much effort into Facebook, but it's not where my world is. And you need to, that's why getting clear on your ideal customer profile is so important.
That is true, because I've got friends who have strong businesses that are built totally off of TikTok or totally off of Instagram, and that's fine, and that's great. But for my market, my B2B long sales cycle, it just isn't there. So I stay on LinkedIn. Okay, are you ready for our lightning round?
I am.
Top 10 signs your sales strategy needs a tune-up.
Number one is that you feel like you are chasing business all the time, but you are rarely closing it.
2, you're not getting any inbound leads.
Number 3, your pipeline's a little cold. Either it's stuck and not moving, or you're not getting much into it.
Number 4, the customers you have are not generating repeat business or referral business. They're not talking about you enough.
Yeah. Number 5, you don't really know your buyer anymore. Like, you don't really, when you look at it, you think, gosh, I'm still trying to solve the problem they had in 2024.
Number 6, your pipeline is just getting stuck with things that you get leads come in, but you never really have a way to qualify them well and move them through.
Oh, your close rate is dropping significantly.
You're having to discount your price to close any sale that you get.
Number 9, it has been a minute since you updated your sales strategy.
Number 10, you have to be continually talking to your existing customers to find out what's changing in the marketplace. Be a voice in your industry where you represent the knowledge. Hey, great show this morning. With that, we want to say thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. Something we've said has earned you a single dollar. Consider telling a friend about our show, because it's how we grow when we help you grow. I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meridith Elliott Powell.
Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity,
all of this uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical.
All right. Quote of the week. Bill King: likes and clicks don't close sales. All right. We'll see you right back here next week, 8 a.m. Eastern, for another episode of Sales Logic. Remember, if you have a question, if there's something we can solve for you, send it to saleslogicpodcast.com. Reach out to Mark, reach out to me. We'll feature you right here on the show. Until next week, we'll have a great closing week. We'll see you right back here, 8 a.m. Eastern, Saturday morning.